Yeah. If you have some more to talk about, Joseph, just re-raise your hand and I'll know that you got some more. All right. I've got someone with the last four digits of their phone number, lucky 1313.
Yeah. Hey, Mitch, it's Dan up in Fort Worth.
Hey, Dan.
Dan in Fort
man?
Worth. Hey, man. I'm well, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Just
Dan, you're a buy and hold guy. What are you seeing with this rent moratorium?
Oh, it's just crazy. I mean, we're not. So we've taken the mobile home model to heart. We're leaving the city and heading to maybe not rural, but definitely out.
Yeah.
So the size home, and I think I'm right in saying that y'all were buying around a 1,250 to 1,350 square foot size mobile home. Am I right in thinking is that about what size y'all typically buy? Are you buying new?
Yeah, we were buying a double wide, about 1,300 square feet plus or minus 3.2.
Yeah.
But we found some killer single wides that we have gone and bought just because it's so hard to find inventory. We're actually thinking about opening up a mobile home dealership. One, we have our dealership license, so we could order straight from the factory. But the problem with ordering from the factory is they can't deliver shit either. I got to order for 20 mobile homes. Like $700,000 worth of mobile homes. They can't deliver. They told me 8 months to deliver. So that ain't gonna work. So we thought about just going up and opening up a dealership with someplace where there's a lot of traffic, so at least we could get the trade-ins, because the trade-ins on these things are unbelievable sometimes. Like sometimes the trade-in value that these people get trade-ins a single wide because someone wants to buy a new one or they're leaving or whatever for $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000.
What would keep you just from working with the retail dealer and being his guy to buy that used home?
Well, you can, and that's what we've done. We've actually gone to them and found people whose lots were full and they can't take any more. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They can't take any more homes because they don't have the room for it, or they just don't want to. They just don't want to for whatever reason. And saying, look, before you ever move this thing to your lot, why don't you wholesale it to me and we'll just take it straight to my lot? And that's how we're picking up some of them.
Yeah.
The thing is, don't move it too many times because those moves cost money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The single wides you're buying, I mean, about how many square feet are those?
16 by 73 to 80. You know what I mean? Somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take off X amount of feet for the tongue. But what is that? 1,150, 1,200 square foot? I don't know. Let me do the math. 16 by 75. What is that? Here, I'm doing it right now. 16 times 75.
16 by 75, 1,200.
Yeah, 1,200. But the only reason why, I mean, it's the same as square foot as our double wide sometimes, but it's just a double wide looks more like a home.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's a pain in the ass though, because it's, the setup is way more expensive. You got to marry the two pieces together, and you got to do the roof line, and then you got to connect the electric and the air conditioning and the plumbing and everything, and then it's just instead of being $3,500 to move and set up, it's $6,000 or $7,000 to move and set up. You know what I mean? Because you got to seam the carpet back together and the vinyl and all that. So I mean, it's just a pain in the ass, but it looks more like a house, and I think that helps when you're selling.
So on balance, you would prefer a double. I mean.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Is that okay? Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I won't take a single wide at a steal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So here's some lot sizes that we're running across. I mean, they're like 50 by 75. Mm-hmm. As long as that will perk, do I really care? I mean, if a home will fit on it and the septic field will fit, I mean, looks like, and I can buy these. I'm
Okay, so let me
finding
tell you,
this
we
size
had a
lot.
tiny lot, a quarter of an acre, which is about what you're talking about, right?
Actually, ours are more of an eighth.
Okay, well, we had a tiny, it was less than a quarter of an acre, and we got the mobile home for $6,000 or $7,000. We got the lot for $5,000 or $6,000. We got it all done. The bottom line was, after we got the electrical pole out there and put the septic tank and everything, we're into it for $35,000. We owner financed it in 3 days. We had it for sale for $125,000, owner financed with 10% down.
Right.
And someone came in and offered us $20,000 down if we would sell it for $105,000, and we got $35,000 in it. We just
all day long.
We could have sold it for $125,000 all day long with $12,000 or $15,000 down all day long. But someone want to give us $20,000. He was strong and said, what the hell? Good deal. It's a good deal. Next.
Yeah. Well, so am I thinking rightly that if the mobile home will fit on there and the septic will work?
Yeah, you're thinking right. It just depends on your numbers, Dan. I mean, if the numbers work, then
the numbers work. Oh my goodness, the numbers work all day long. Yeah.
Okay, so you just have to, your biggest problem right there is, can you or are you allowed to put a septic tank on that small of a piece of land? And you need to clear that through whoever the powers are. And if they say yes, then you got to get someone to place the home and place the septic on a piece of paper and see if it all fits. Because you may have to run your house long ways, down one property line.
That's what we're doing. In fact, that's what they do in the neighborhood. So it's not like everybody else is parallel to the street, and here we're perpendicular. Everybody does it that way. So it doesn't look any more weird than the next guy.
Then just make sure you know what your setbacks are off the property lines. There's usually a different setback for the front than the sides and the back. So just make sure you know what your setbacks are, because, I think the drain field can go into the setback. I'm not even sure about that, but I think you can use but you shouldn't need to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No. And I'm not sure on that point, but we're finding that it'll work, that with the footage we've got, the field fits. It does fine. One other quick one. You're driving down a country road and you see some bombed out mobile home. Well, why wouldn't I try to find the owner of that disaster, buy it, scrape it, because it's got power and either a septic that works or one I can replace.
It used to work, right? Or you're assuming it used to work, right? You assume it used to work.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. We're using Landglide, where you drive down the street.
Yep. Amazing.
And then, you start seeing, you start pinning these properties, and then you go home and you start tracking them down, by whatever means necessary, skip trace or through the county courthouse records or whatever you got to do. And
Okay. All right. So
don't try. One thing you don't want to do is try to fix up too old of a mobile home or one that's too big of a disaster. Just get rid of it.
Just blow it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Have someone got to come demo it all down and take it to the dump or whatever you do, and then someone's got to cut the frame up in pieces and haul it off.
Yeah. No, I think we're getting an order in for 4 homes yesterday. Supposed to have, so hopefully tomorrow, but we've got 3 we're waiting on. 1 delivered will be delivered in about 2 weeks, and then 2 in December, and then these 4 will be probably February, March. So anyway, well, good. This is helpful. It's just
so the mobile home conversation for you is probably, sometimes when I'm talking to people about one-on-one coaching, like I'm $25,000 or whatever, I don't want to take somebody if I'm not going to help them get if I don't feel like they're going to see that $25,000 back. I only maybe take 8 people a year at that level. You know what I mean? But I interview them really hard. And one of the things I'm asking them is, are you doing land? Are you doing mobile homes? And if they tell me no, I know automatically where I'm going to find their money. Because if you're not looking at mobile homes and not looking at land, you're missing out on 2/3 of the business.
Yeah. No, that's, we feel like we're coming out of the desert phase and just about to start making this really work. I may follow up with you though offline on this, because we're beginning to grow and do some things right, but I know we could kick it up a gear if we,
yeah, I mean,
knew a little more what we're doing.
It's not hard to miss out or lose or step over 25 grand until you get all the pieces, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the anxiety of it. We even had one of the guys that works for me, Patrick, he has his master's in mechanical engineering from Texas A&M, a 6-year degree. And so we recognize this guy as a brainiac, right? So we set him in charge of getting our dealership license, and he went down and got his sanitarium license where he can design septic tanks for us himself. So we don't wait on anybody. And so we have all that in-house. Not saying that's where you should be, but I just thought I would point it out. Like, we brought, we're so into the mobile home thing that we brought it in-house. We got our dealership license so we could order direct and get the pricing. And then we got the same guy who's very studious, which is very unlike Mike and Mitch. Like, we couldn't pass that test to save our asses. I mean, they just hang us. We've never passed that test, no matter how long we studied.
And no Longhorns, and he's the Aggie.
Yeah, but he's a smart Aggie. So that's how seriously we're taking it, because it just opens up a whole nother set of doors. And then, you got to get your haulers and your people that are going to skirt it and deck it. But once you get the team together, you just keep going to the same people, and they recognize you as kind of a repeat customer. So you don't have to pay we have a guy that goes out and does the pads for us and everything. He knows exactly what to do. We just got to put 4 stakes out and tell him where we want the pad. Is it a single wide, a double wide? Where does this cleachy go? And so it all starts out a pain in the ass, and you're feeling your way, and then you start to build a team and a routine.
That's it.
Yeah, it's all a pain in the ass when you start. It's all, especially mobile homes, big pain in the ass. Lots to learn about mobile homes.
Well, I'm glad you say that, because it keeps feeling like that, and I think, man, this looks so simple on the surface.
Well, one of the things you have to do, and you're in Texas, so I can speak to you from experience, the TDHCA, which is the Texas Department of Community Housing and Affairs, which is stationed in Austin, is the biggest clusterfuck ever known to man. It's like trying to deal with the IRS. You can never talk to the same person twice, and every time you talk to someone, they give you a different answer. And no one has to be responsible for their answer. So, but one thing I will tell you, make sure you get the HUD label number or the serial number, and you run all your mobile homes to make sure that the personal property taxes have been paid up. Don't let anyone tell you that they aren't. Technically, to transport the mobile home, the taxes have to be paid. But there are a lot of people who have and it's called hot footing. They'll hot foot the mobile homes from one place to the other without pulling a permit. You can't get a permit to do it legally if there's past due property taxes. Personal property taxes. But people do it all the time. I once was buying from Greentree, which was the premier foreclosure holding house for mobile homes. And they assured me that everything had been taken care of. I bought 140 mobile homes just figuring that if it was on their lot, they had to have paid the taxes because that's the law, and they were a big company. Turns out I owed $240,000 on those $1 million worth of mobile homes.
Oh my goodness!
I owed $240,000 in back due taxes. So don't take anyone's word for it. You pull it yourself. You get the certificate yourself from the TDHCA.
Okay. That's a good one.
no
Wow.
matter what anyone says.
All right. Will do. Mitch, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Be in touch.
All right. Thanks.